Hello and welcome to my new video. Today I will make a small gear review. It's actually my exposure meter. I bought it myself, so it's a DOOMO Made, and I like it because it's kind of in style of Leica and I can put it on top of my camera. And for a long period of time I actually want a reflective light meter because it's not always I can go kind of in a scene and measure it properly. And also for most of the times it's just too clunky. You have a too big kind of a camera and exposure meter, or two cameras and exposure meter. So I just wanna, for traveling and the future plans, just wanna shrink down my equipment a little bit. But in the same time, I don't really like the exposure meter inside the camera because I cannot exchange it. And this is one of the best options what I can find on the market. So I hope you enjoy this like small review, and probably in the end of this video I will also show my experience, how I developed the film, what is the density, how it's actually perform in real life conditions and not like comparison to the light meter. So stay tuned and let's roll up the unboxing of the light meter. I also bought a lot of film. And nowadays buying chemicals and film at the same time getting a little bit expensive. Especially if you think about it, this is actually kind of my year supply, and I bought also Porter 400 for my Hasselblad, and I just realized I have a lot of film for 35mm, and sometimes I just feel I cannot load the film because I don't have it in the fridge. So I eliminate this problem altogether, and I also ordered for my trip this light meter. So in the kit you have this sandpaper, because this light meter made from the brass body with the black paint, so it will wear up and create this satin effect what you have on the old Leicas. Not on mine unfortunately, but I kind of don't care, and this one just a good product and it looks nice. I really like this small package, and it's sealed from one side with the tape. It's quite easy to deliver and ship, but it unfortunately takes a little bit longer than I anticipated, so it's few weeks from China. But if you look on this packaging, I think it's so much quality in this product. I never saw this type of presentation and this type of packaging, and I really like it. It's kind of like microelectronics packaging, and some of the chips or ICs or motherboards or small stuff actually packaged in the same way between the two plastic sleeves, and this is kind of a suspended in air type of presentation. And as you can see, I also ordered engraving of my logo of my channel on top, and all the pictures on the internet doesn't really show the quality of this product. First of all, the wheel was a little bit stiff, but if you rotate a few times it's actually becoming probably perfect fit to not really rotate the settings. But in the same time it's quiet, it doesn't click, and the full body a little bit heavy, and I really like this appearance of the heavy metal object and not like a flimsy plastic one. So it feels solid and it feels really good, and I think it's really good product for the price. On the bottom of the box you have different types of mountings, so you can tape it or you can mount the cold shoe. And I will start with the mounting of the cold shoe in the middle and try to fit it on my Leica. And unfortunately, as you can understand, the classical Leicas, they have offset, and you need an actually light meter which is actually shifted to the right. And as far as I understand, not all of the light meters have this option of mounting. And I think the DOOMO Made in principle have ability to mount it in a Hasselblad cold shoe, which is a special type of the cold shoes. So I will probably or collaborate or just buy it in future, because I also really like the passive prism for my Hasselblad and I wanna buy it in future, and I wanna separate light meter which is reliable and I can trust and it's easy to use. And what you actually also notice for the old type of Leicas, you have this strange pin for the old school flashes, and this light meter actually have a notch which is accommodating for this pin. So it's no problems and no worries with the mounting. And in the same time I bought the type of light meter with a screen and not with the two dials, just because I want a dynamic metering and I just want to look on the top screen and do not really rotate the wheels while I'm shooting. And also what I like about this particular model, it's actually USB-C. So when I'm traveling, I only have USB-C and unfortunately Lightning for my iPhone, but this one also charging from the USB-C, so I have no problem with it recharging and charging it on a fly or in a hotel or wherever I'm staying, because most of my devices and the laptop actually charge from the same type of port. And we will see how long it will last in my trip, because I will go for the trip for 2 weeks, and I hope this light meter will save a lot of hassle and time on this particular trip, because I will pack light and just take a lot of film and 2 cameras with me. I will probably make some photos, a lot of portraits and a lot of street shots, and I just have 2 cameras, Hasselblad and a Leica with me, and I don't want to get anything more complicated than these 2 cameras. For portraiture, I actually prefer my other light meter, but I think on a trip this one will be sufficient, and I just want to test it before I actually develop and process all of my films. So I have in the camera half of the roll, and I will shoot the half of the roll with the light meter, what I have now on the camera, and just compare the result with the stability of the light. So light meter actually have 2 modes. You cannot really see it on the video, it's kind of not really showing the screen properly, but in reality screen is really bright and really crispy looking without any problems. You can change with the constant metering, single metering, you can change from the aperture priority to the shutter speed priority, and this is actually quite nice feature for the Leica users, because if somebody doesn't know, Leica is actually meant to work as a shutter priority, so you basically set up your shutter to the speed of your film. So basically if you have a 200 film, you set up to 250 and you only adjust your aperture, and this is actually how it goes with the Leica, and this is why I really like the different approach what I have with my Leica camera. And if you just meter, it's quite dark here, and I want to test the low light conditions for this light meter also. And what I care more about is actually not really the metering numbers, what I have from the light meter. I care more about the EV numbers, so basically the raw kind of a light, what you can measure with this light meter. You cannot really compare it like this, because I have a white walls and it's a lot of white things around. And it's not really neutral light balance type of scene for this type of metering, but actually it was quite close, and as you can see on the camera it looks quite fancy and stylish, and you can wear it without any problems. And this is now my biggest setup for the Leica. It's a huge lens and I really like it. f1.2 on this Voigtlander is just amazing, and I really like the results what I'm getting with this lens. So let's start with the development of this roll, and I actually shot a lot of things with the different light conditions and try to kind of push the boundaries of this light meter. And most importantly, I don't see any problems with the light meter. It's quite responsive, you can really measure and you can really push. And only one limitation, I think, is the sensor size. It doesn't really measure properly in the crazy low light conditions. For example, my Sekonic can measure everything you want in a crazy low light conditions, but I think for film photography it's not crazy important, because you anyway set it up 1/15 of the second and 1.2 with the ISO 400. And now I'm pushing time from 3 minutes 15 seconds for developer to 3 minutes 30 seconds, and as you can see, the longer I wait the lower temperature goes. So I started with a 38.5 degrees and it's actually dropped down by 1 degree. But anyway, I in the middle of the 38 degrees and I hope everything will be fine with the film and with the results. And after scanning, I get pretty nice results in a completely different light conditions, and some of the photos actually made with the light meter from the Sekonic, and the batch of the photos actually made with the light meter from the DOOMO MADE, and I don't see any problems. And with the handling, it's quite amazing light meter. You just can set it up, press continuous meter. It's not really turning off automatically, and I really like it. And I hate my Sekonic for this, because you need to turn it on, it takes some time, and after that you need to click and measure and remeasure and so on. And as you can see by these photos, my colors is actually on spot, and the exposure and the Dynamic range in a crazy different light condition works perfectly fine, and I don't see any problems with the density on the film. All the shots looks even if you have some kind of a degree of error there. I think it's close enough to the half stop of error with just, metering error, which you cannot predict. Otherwise, you just need to make a spot meter and meter the whole scene and just equalize it somehow with a more expensive Sekonic light meter. But overall, I'm really happy with the purchase, and this one was kind of a long anticipated purchase because I was struggling a little bit with the daily life with the Sekonic light meter and always passing it on my shoulder and have it in hand all the time. So I hope it will improve my flexibility on the street, and with the different light conditions I can remeasure more of the time. So in principle my overall exposure on the roll will be kind of a more flat, and I will have less errors and less kind of a, bad results just because I don't want to remeter, I don't want to go there and so on. So it's, for me, overall improvement in my photography and in my kind of a lifestyle of the photography, where and how I take my camera with me. So keep it simple, keep it less stress. So I usually shoot only with the 50 millimeters and with this light meter and with my Leica camera, and this is kind of my daily driver. So probably in future I will include some videos, technical videos about the gear and the darkroom gear and this type of a support gear for film photography, and also traveling, how I pack for traveling, what I can take with me and how I take things with me. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Support my channel with a coffee in the link below or on YouTube. Once again, have a nice day and see you in the next videos.